Hello, Bucs fans. Adam Slivon here. We're talking Bucs football this week, baby. After months of off-season discussion, it's now time to talk results. Tampa Bay survived in Atlanta in a Week 1 thriller. It was nail-biting. It was exhilarating. It was frustrating. I've heard from longtime fans that that's just how it goes being a fan of the Red and Pewter. But it made for an entertaining game, though. That's why I'm super stoked to break it all down in this week's edition of Top 10 Takeaways, starting with number 1. That's a sad Dirty Birds player right there. Talk about a season opener. Sunday afternoon's game went back and forth and came down to the final seconds. And a Falcons kicker, Younghoe Koo, who missed his kick wide right. That led to the Bucs pulling off the sweet victory, but there's a lot to discuss here. Number 2. The offense started slow, with quarterback Baker Mayfield initially looking uncomfortable behind a reshuffled offensive line. A couple of 3-and-outs, and worry began to creep in. Mayfield was off in this one and had a couple of near interceptions, but he made enough of a positive impact, completing just over half of his passes for 3 touchdowns, and he toughed out a win. They all count the same. Number 3. Do you understand the hype for wide receiver Emeka Egbuka yet? If you didn't get your ticket punched, it may be too late to board the hype train. Ibuka came through when it mattered most, scoring the first and last touchdowns of the game. What an NFL debut. The first-round pick showed why he is a star in the making, and that his role, even when wide receivers Chris Godwin Jr. and Jalen McMillan return, will be substantial. Number 4. Outside of Mayfield's inaccuracy, I want to see improvement from the run game. Running back Bucky Irving averages 2.6 yards per carry, while running backs Rashad White and Sean Tucker had 3 total carries. That's not much of a balanced offensive attack, is it? They could not pound the rock at all, but thankfully for their sake, neither could the Falcons. Number 5. All things considered, I thought the offensive line held up well. Starting Michael Jordan at left guard. Not that Michael Jordan, not the GOAT. They started him at left guard, moved Graham Barton to left tackle, and Ben Bredesen over to center. That was bold. It caught everybody off guard, pun intended. They protected Mayfield enough and were not a negative. The question now becomes, how will the group look next week? Will Charlie Heck be out there? What about Ben Shaquuma? There's so many things to consider here. Number 6. Let's talk defense, shall we? They were up and down, to say the least. A lot of mistakes from 2024 came back and plagued them, but there were also some encouraging signs to build on. Number 7. Quarterback Michael Penix Jr. was not as successful as Kirk Cousins was last year, but he still found success dumping it off to running back Bijan Robinson. On the day, Penix completed 27 of 42 passes for 298 yards and a touchdown. When looking at Robinson, he was absolutely lethal as a receiving back. He had 6 catches for 100 yards, but he did little on the ground, averaging just 2 yards per carry on 12 carries. There were negatives in pass coverage, but positives in run defense. Does that sound familiar? Number 8. Long drives and on-field rulings set the defense back, especially in the second half. Did anyone else think every single play was under review, or was that just me? There needs to be more of that defensive killer instinct that was discussed so heavily over the offseason. I will say, though, cornerback Zyon McCollum, who just got paid, son, and Jamel Dean, they played well and limited wide receiver Drake London. He had 15 targets, but just 8 catches for 55 yards. Give them some props. Number 9. On the special teams front, it was a complete opposite of last year. It was kind of like Freaky Friday, if you will. Punter Riley Dixon looked great, booming punts and putting them inside the 20. But it was kicker Chase McLaughlin who struggled. He's typically automatic. Chase Bank's always open. But he missed a field goal for the first time since week 13 of last year. The team cannot afford to see its kicker regress, as they rely on him in close games. He almost cost them this time around. And number 10. It was far from a dominant showing, but there was some progress made. The offense dialed up some explosive plays, while the defense bent, but didn't completely break. Head coach Todd Bowles and company have several areas to clean up before the Bucs face the Texans in Houston on Monday Night Football next week. So, that'll do it for my top 10 takeaways this week, but be sure to check out pewterreport.com for all of our post-game content in the coming days. Be sure to check out our Pewter Report podcast on our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel and subscribe. It's free. And you can also check out our social media, X, Instagram, and Facebook at Pewter Report. To see my 10 takeaways and more of my analysis, you can find me on X at Adam Lives On. I hope you enjoyed this video breaking down the Bucs Week 1 win over the Falcons. What were your biggest takeaways? Who impressed or disappointed you most? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section below, and I'll see you soon for another Top 10 Takeaways.